So welcome back, guys, and there you go. That's our map draft already because we just started. I was like, guys, give me a sec. Let me fix everything up. But hey, whatever. Okay, sure. Let's go. Let's get into the game. So you saw our maps. Our first map gonna be Everdream. Second map gonna be Nightshade. Third map gonna be Eternal Empire. Bands are down below, and this is still a BO3, ladies and gentlemen. Semifinals action coming our way here in the Aldai Weekly. Let's get into this one. So welcome back, guys, and pretty quickly, huh? No time for introduction, no time to hype the matchup up. Sure, let's go straight into the game. That's what we want to see in the Aldai Weekly. But first things first, let's talk about the matchup. Introducing, on the top right of Everdream, it is the Purple Protoss of Quantel. Quantel taking down Vivid. Apparently on his birthday. Happy birthday to Mr. Vivid. Hopefully, that doesn't make your day a little sour. But, you know, he did a pretty good job, especially with the latency issues. We've seen Chappie really struggle with that one as well. So it goes to show, it is always a pleasure to have these AE players hop on in for the Aldai. But, that's what happens sometimes in terms of the server. But hey, no taking away from Quantel, guys. Quantel really showed his stuff there, as we do get a quick little pause from his opponent, who is gonna have a few latency issues, apparently. So in the meantime, let's talk about these two guys real quick. For Quantel's side, like I said before, Indonesian SEA representative. I'm gonna look quickly through his history, actually, of what he's been up to in terms of the Aligalac. If you guys are always basically looking to stalk someone in the SC2 pro scene, you type someone's name on Aligalac, and there you go. Number one in Indonesia, not really too high up in the world, but has been having a pretty good run so far in his recent times. If I remember correctly, he has been in the Aldai for quite a while, really putting such a strong competition against the... I think I reset the internet. Okay, I think we're gonna have to reset the whole thing over, guys. So yes, now I have time to talk about things. No problem. Uh, Party, no problem. Go. So yeah, hopefully neutrals is gonna be a-okay. But talking about Quantel yet again, he has been participating in a number of competitions lately, really showing that he is striving to get better and better into the scene. Not the highest win rate, honestly. He's around 40% right now in terms of game win rates in his most recent runs over the past few months here in Aligalac, but I feel like that's a pretty iffy stat to go on in the first place. But let's talk about instead his recent run. So he has been showing on up in the GPOs lately. He's been showing up in Aldais pretty regularly. He's been showing on up in the ESL Open Cup Asians regularly as well. And has few qualifiers along the way for IEM and the like. So from his springboard playing in the SEA Games, we were able to actually document a little bit of his run in the lower bracket, losing out to Ranger way back when. But hey, for Quantel, it's all about experience. It's all about trying to get better and better. And the Aldai Weekly is one good place to go about things, as we are waiting on for his opponent. In the meantime, we weren't able to introduce him in-game, but let's talk about Mr. Neutrals instead. I don't really have too much about Neutrals as a player, but I do have a more personal story about him instead. So for Neutrals, he was the one who basically contacted me about a few things in the SEA Games replay stuff. So what happened there, as we are gonna quickly reset the game and get Mr. Neutrals back into the lobby. What happened there was I made a post basically asking a few players around the SEA community to see who still has other replays from SEA Games, because we were only able to salvage one computer from the SEA Games in terms of not being wiped yet of StarCraft 2. So we got the replays from there, a few of them that weren't broadcast, and I was able to make a replay cast out of them, which is in the YouTube somewhere. So if you just type in !YouTube or YT, you'll be able to see that pop out. So yeah, where was I? Neutrals talked to me since he saw my post on SE2 Malaysia, and that's when he invited me to basically a group for SE2 people in SEA, and that moved on forward to basically here. Like, it's always just been something I could go on. I asked about this tournament last week, And it's honestly thanks to neutrals that I was able to ask. I was able to be here right now with you guys. And as a player though, I can't wait to see his debut because I was like, hey, I want to stream you. I want to stream you first round. And apparently he got a buy or something, and we moved on over to Chappie and Nux's game instead. I looked at his profile real quick. He has gotten 2 masters, so I can't wait to see a higher level of competition here from Mr. Neutrals. But Quantel, seems like he's on a tear, able to take down Vivid just like that. Very, very well played from our Protoss player. In the meantime, though, we will take a break. We'll just wait on for Neutrals to come on over, return to the game. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Hopefully he can come on back. And this is the I'll Die Weekly, number 28. Where were we for the past 27 ones? I don't know, but at least we're here now. Okay guys, we are back and finally time to get into game number 1. So there's a little bit of an issue there. Neutrals had to quickly reset his whole setup. So making sure that he is ready to go. In the meantime, check out the maps as we get on to the action. Just had to quickly check on something. Yeah, Everdream, remember guys, is our first map coming our way. So let's talk about actually the map pool picks right now. So there are a lot of spaces that that you just gotta work on. Just a lot of room to breathe under. But let's get into the action. Let's get into the game. Game number 1 coming our way. Finally. Whew! Finally we're here. Feels tiring to just suddenly have to sprint out just to get something, because you're like, okay, are the computers of these guys fast or not? Because if it's fast, I don't have much time. But if it is slow, you're gonna have like a minute or two, especially in StarCraft. Introducing first our opponents though. Whew, out of breath. But we are gonna keep at it. On the bottom left, the purple Protoss, that is Quantel. I took a screenshot. Nice. His opponent though, on the top right, representing the Malaysian nation, is the Green Zerg Neutrals, back from no internet. Quick little update as well in the bracket, shouts light for that one. It is Chappie who moves on against Justice Simon, and whoever wins that one will face off against whoever wins this one to take the crown, to take the pot of the I'll Die Weekly. Exactly, gonna come on outspawn pool, gonna be there as well right here, right now. And for neutrals, his whole goal is to play that pool first, but he does go for the pretty early gas actually. He's not gonna have too much minerals in the bank for a really quick rush, but at the same time he will get a faster metabolic boost. We'll see what it's gonna go. Yeah, it's a pool first here, and now for our Green Protoss, for Green Zerg. Damn, races are hard. But Quantel will respond in kind with a standard wall. And not a very surprising map pick here, especially for Quantel. Here with Evergym, very easy to defend your first 2 bases. There's also really good high ground actually to set on up. This is where usually Reapers leap on over 2, but at the same time Stalkers can bombard from that side. For Quantel though, pretty standard stuff right here, right now, going for 2 bases. Neutrals with the early pool, but we'll see if he can really capitalize on that. He does get the Zerglings online, but here for Quantel, I feel like he needs to really cover up his base if need be. Anyway though, the Adept gonna get warped on in. The Chrono Boost gonna be pretty essential to get that proper time. And in the meantime, the pro buying time for the army unit to actually come on out. Very important to actually get it on over in position before the Zergling Swarm comes your way. Gonna pack a bunch onto that main line, and in the meantime, it's a quick robo facility as well here for Quantel. It seems like Immortal's gonna be into the field potentially early, and it does defend his base just a little bit more against a run-on buy. If you think base building and base structure placement is no big deal, I'm gonna tell you guys you're wrong on that. Honestly, especially for like Protoss, you see this more often. They're trying to basically make a wall in the front if they don't seal their ramp itself, because of the fact that this forces whatever is attacking to go around alongside if they don't want to waste time trying to break things down. They are still physical things, they are still structures in the way. And for Quantel, since he saw neutrals go for that early opening with the pool, he feels like the aggression is going to come his way, but neutrals is not really capitalizing on that too much. He has 20 army, he goes for really fast roaches, and this might be a 2-base all-in by this scenario. Because look at neutrals, he does have the hatchery, but it doesn't really have drones in production. It's an overlord, it's more zerglings, and he wants to go for the KO right here, right now. Quantel though, gonna be looking to seal the gap. The Stalker out in front. Sentry's gonna be there as well. In the meantime, the Ravager gonna get morphed on in. And this has to be a defense that has to hold for Quantel, or this is gonna be game, set, and match. Warping Go gonna be into the cards. Force Field will seal the gap, but the Stalker still dies. Shield Battery in behind. Gonna slow things down. Bile gonna break down the Force Field. But for Quantel, the answer is to micro with your macro. Unfortunately, doesn't get a cancel in time, wasting some minerals there. In the meantime, here comes Neutrals yet again, looking for the push on in, surprising Quantel. And this is going to be a pro pull already. Ravager still going for the damage. 3 probes already going down. Gameheart telling us how many things are dying on the left-hand side, but you can already see the corpses of those poor probes. Scrap metal into this one. Pylon as well will go down. No power whatsoever right here, right now for Quantel. And in the meantime, Neutral still keeping on with the pressure. A pretty commanding lead in that army count. And all he has to do now is shut down the other pylon so he can prevent any more army units from coming online. But here we go yet again with the pull. Quantel is on the ropes. He has to try and increase his DPS somehow. And the workers are on it, finally shutting down the attack. Neutral still gonna have this one Ravager. Can it get a pile on? Never mind, but the Zerglings now with the Swarm on in. Can it pick up the Immortal? That's a good load from the War Prism. Saving the day. It seems like Quantel able to survive for these times. It looked pretty dicey, but in the end, Quantel survives to live to fight another day. And overall, both sides are pretty even actually, and Quantel right now looking to still macro on up. He feels like he lost a lot of workers there, but at the same time, he's gonna be a-okay in a setup like this. Drones though, increasing right now. On to the second base we go. In the meantime, here for Neutrals, a lot of Zerglings actually on the outside. Can be a potential swarm, can be a potent way to find a pick-off or two. But with the War Prism micro right here, right now, on point from Quantel, it really makes such a big difference in terms of that survivability. I've seen SEA players really good at this, the War Prism micro, especially from that side of SEA, from like Thailand, from Singapore, from Indonesia. These guys really love playing Protoss, and this is one of the best things that they do. They can really sustain whatever immortals they have inside of the War Prism for so long. Lots of efficiency in that department. But with the swarm of Zerglings waiting for something to get dropped, it's like a zombie horde just watching you from below, trying to climb on up. Luckily though, this isn't World War Z, they're not going to be able to make a bridge of tower basically of corpses. But in the meantime, here comes the swarm yet again. Barriers gonna get popped, but for now the War Prism survives yet again. Will Neutrals actually go for a Spore Crawler into this one? Seems like the Zerglings are enough to fend Quantel off in any of his antics, but this is Quantel basically buying time, as 2 drones did go down. Their third hatchery now coming online here and now for Neutrals. Sprawl yet again with the War Prism micro. But for Quantel, he's feeling happy about his position. He's maximizing his efficiency on 2 bases. I'm a little afraid though for all his Artosis pylons. Artosis pylon on this, Artosis pylon on this, Artosis pylon on this. All of them powered by 1. And if there is an EMP or basically a shutdown out of nowhere, it's gonna be very difficult for Quantel to actually keep on producing. Anyway though, 4 purple Protoss, pretty regal in the front. He is gonna have a significant army actually pushing on out, still sealing a gap. He doesn't break his own pylon just to push on forward. The War Prism apparently is enough, but Quantel not gonna go for a second War Prism just in case. Instead, he's gonna add the pylon in the forefront, realizing his scenario here and now. A little more power gonna go a long way, but this is the show of force that Protoss is looking for. Stalkers right now gonna be into the forefront. Very dangerous scenario here right now because Quantel doesn't really have any Twilight Council upgrades whatsoever. Doesn't even have the building in the first place. Sentries in behind, not going for the Guardian Shield. Instead, here comes the Force Fields to try and cut off the retreat. Still a big bulky army right here right now from Quantel. Reinforcements have arrived yet again. No charge though on those Zealots. Really depends on how Neutrals is gonna might things over, but Quantel separating the wheat from the chaff. Finding the stragglers, finding those slow enough to get on separated, keep them separated as the Opera Spray. But the spray still comes on over. Stalker is gonna be there in the forefront yet again. Zealots tanking up the damage. And hey, they come on out and play because these Stalkers is able to get the damage in behind. Zealots in the front, exactly the cascade any Protoss player wants to see. Formation in its fullest. Quantel not even needing the Guardian Shield. GG is called. Neutrals will fall on over as Quantel able to defend the early onslaughts and takes the first map. So well done there to Quantel. A victory under his belt yet again on Everdream. And this time, He was on the defense, turned it around with the attack, and just a looming threat of the Immortals of the War Prism, enough to keep neutrals at bay. If neutral is a true neutral, what is Quantel? Right now he looks a little chaotic on this side, but he's been pretty good at what he's been doing so far. Anyway though, seems like we are gonna get into game number 2 in just a bit. But overall, I like the gusto. I like how neutrals was gonna try to play things out with a very early aggression. He went for the pull first, he went for the really quick roaches. And honestly, he's all in working out in a sense that he was able to, at the tail end, still catch up in so many different ways. But you can really see where the problem is. You can really see that if you get fended off, just the fact that your opponent has better tech than you is enough to shut you down from really playing proactive. The fact that the War Prisms were there with the Immortals allowed Quantel to be at that higher tech structure. It was really a significant difference from only having gateway units. Compared to neutrals, he had like the normal tier 1 units of Zerglings, he had Roaches, he had Ravagers, but he didn't have Banelings, he didn't even have Hydras or anything like that. Wasn't on lair tech for... I don't think he ever got on lair tech actually. And in the end, it was just Quantel using that advantage, and that is why your early aggression doesn't work properly, doesn't cripple your opponent enough, and you are gonna be on the back foot even if the numbers say that's pretty even. I don't speak Bisaya, Geohen. I don't speak Bisaya at all. So yeah, we'll wait on for all of this. We'll wait on for game number 2. In the meantime, you guys have anything to talk about in the chats? But yeah, neutrals versus Quantel. Still looking good so far. Our Protoss player looking out for a run or two actually to make it to the tail end and take the crown. A few players actually from the outside right now are talking about Quantel and saying like, hey, he might actually be the one who wins this series, who wins out in this tournament. And you can really see the support for the Indonesian player right behind him. Can neutral still burst that bubble? Can he actually shut him down? It was a good idea. It was a good potential start at the opening, using the Zerglings, using the Roaches, and taking advantage of the fact that Quantel didn't really have as proper of a setup, especially with the Artosis pylons all around. Now, how do you make a difference? How could that have been a little more different? Maybe taking care of that second base first would allow neutrals to play the macro game. But it feels like neutrals still overcommitted a little bit. It wasn't as one-sided as he wanted. It wasn't as potent as it could be. Oh yeah, Quantel. Oh yeah, Quantel's the party lobby. That's why we're not getting a new game. But yeah, if neutrals found a way to take a bigger lead by playing a little macro in behind when he was sure that it wasn't gonna be a win on his book, well, that could have been a little different on the game. Seeing neutrals on a higher tier of tech would not allow Quantel to do the shenanigans, do the thing that he just did earlier on against his opponent. But hey, that is the show, and that is how it goes sometimes. Let's get into the action. Let's get into the fun. Neutrals versus Quantel yet again. Our Indonesian player one map ahead versus our Malaysian side. It's very interesting to see such an SEA loved lobby, an SEA centered community. You can see on StarCraft 2. Nightshade though. I'm looking at Nightshade right now. Like, I'm checking out the overlays we have. And on Nightshade, this might be a map that neutrals really enjoy. I think he's the one who picked Nightshade, and with it, it is a very quick displacement between the two main bases. For Nightshade, there are a lot of things on the horizontal end, but there is pretty much a very clear-cut path to get on through on the diagonal angle. So, we'll see if neutrals can capitalize on that as we get into game number 2 out of 3. Let's get into this one yet again here in the Outside Weekly. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 out of 3 in our semifinals between our two players. Introducing first, on the bottom right, it is the purple Protoss Quantel. His opponent on the top left, Gonna be gooking on over with all the goop. It's gonna be the green Zerg neutrals. And it's slime time apparently with that color. It really goes to show Nickelodeon maybe gonna go for copyright infringement on this color, but neutral's really playing with basically the scheme. Looks pretty nice on the Zerg actually. It looks very alive and poisonous. Beyond that, here on Nightshade, a green Zerg might feel at home in the dark woods, having that purple and pink. Such a good way to actually go for the aggression, but this time he doesn't go for it. Hatchery first instead. Macro focus here and now. Standard game, courtesy of our Malaysian side. And the spawning pool gonna come online as well. Quantel will be a witness to that. So behind all of this, it's Quantel getting a second base as well. So earlier on, we have seen that Quantel really has a formula for his plans. Charge lot is really a thing he likes going on. He loves mixing it up with Immortals because they're just such great units, especially nowadays. So from the Robo, he moves into Twilight Council and he gets what he needs. Now, will neutrals be able to really do anything with that information? That's gonna be the real question, because Quantel has not only been exposed in this match, but also in the previous one. So you can really see what our build is for our Protoss player. For now though, neutrals is more of an open book, because more of a closed book rather, compared to the open book that is Quantel. Because neutrals played a pool for us earlier on. This is the first time we're gonna see him macro on over. And the real question here is, are these two players familiar with each other enough to know how they are gonna go about things? Metabolic boost though, looking to be into the cards yet again. In the meantime, here on the eastern side, southeastern side actually, our second base will go online very soon. Warp Gate though, obviously always the crux of the Protoss ground forces. And when I play StarCraft 1 again, it feels really weird to use normal gateways. It's like, where's my W key? Where is my warp pins? It just feels so natural nowadays, especially as soon as that came out. By such a staple, such a good way to reinforce, really good way for the Protoss to basically keep up in numbers and keep up with the aggression. Way back when, all about Turtling. This time, you can go for the fights. But 3 bases right here, right now for neutrals. Will Quantel spot things out and go potentially for the punish? Seems like he is going to be on the defensive stand instead. He gets the sentry in behind, Stalker already in position. No adepts this time though for Quantel, a little difference into this one. And potentially going to be building with the 2 base Immortal Sentry Stalker composition. It's pretty stable honestly in the meta right now. It's a good mix of light damage, armor damage, as well as heavy armor damage, and they are all pretty tough to begin with. The Sentry, of course, very versatile as well. Force fields at the same time with the Guardian Shield, effective means to protect or find pickoffs in the first place. For the Warp Prism, sadly gonna get exposed, used for vision instead. And will neutrals respond to this? He is gonna go into the Roach Warren right here, right now, on 2-3 bases. But he's not on Lair Tech as of yet. He has to be wary, he has to be careful of the upcoming drops if Quantel finds the opportunity for this. Because its sentry is loaded on in. We'll also see an Immortal for Quantel. He doesn't want to be wasting time anymore. I feel like he does know that his opponent is not really going to have too much in behind this, even without the vision. Still though, a timing attack right here, right now with the composition. You have your sentries, you have your Immortal, you have your Stalkers, and you are ready to go with a few more units warped on in. So it's actually going to be there as well. The Warp Prism looking like it is going to have its own solo adventure because it drops down all the units it has. And neutrals leaving this base just to die. Highly unfortunate, honestly. Feels like he overextended his reach a little too much without applying pressure. And right here, right now, our green Zerg in a spot of trouble, wasting basically minerals in this instance, not even having drones in the first place. And Quantel looking for the killing blow already, 5 minutes on in. Significant army right here, right now. Neutrals also gonna get supply block. Can't build up anything else besides Overlords. Spine Crawlers instead gonna be the answer. And this is a really bad position actually for our Zerg, because it's not gonna have the reinforcement support that he needs. Quantel unable to separate whatever is on the left to the right. And in the meantime, instead, using his numbers to the advantage. Ramp, though, will make a difference. Bile now will connect that one Stalker with a sliver of HP. Neutrals are going to be backing on that. These Spine Crawlers, though, are not yet ready to go. And here comes the push. Quantel really playing with time, because these Spine Crawlers are going to go out that very, very soon. But the army going down. This looks like our Protoss player is going to book himself a potential date in the Grand Finals. A little bit of Warp for some Micro as well to put the low Stalkers out of reach. Force field in the way, and the Zerglings is going to run on into their demise. That is Quantel taking the victory, taking the series. A quick one here on Nightshade, and a good reverse of the script. Quantel is like, okay, we'll play on Nightshade, but I'm the one who will go to your base. Well played there to Quantel, and it has been through our prophecy. Quantel gonna be moving on over to the Grand Finals. We'll be waiting on whoever is actually gonna be taking the other semifinals between Justice Simon as well as Chappie. But Quantel with another victory under his belt, another notch to his rifle, or in this case, another successful day at the Warp Gate office. But there you go, guys. Here are our results real quick in this best of 3. Quantel taking the first 2 maps. Eternal Empire not even gonna get played anymore because one of our players taking 2 of these games already. Best of 3, guys. 2 is better than 1, and you already know who has the 2. Overall, though, a few mistakes here and there from neutrals really costing him in that one. Highly unfortunate with the overexpand without really applying pressure or having enough of an army in behind. On the first map, though, it really looks so dicey, but I feel like the Zerglings farm at the tail end didn't really pan out well, and since he was stuck with that, but also had to play catch-up, that was really the nail in the coffin with the Immortals flying around. Like I said, tech is so important, and Quantel able to exploit that. But really, for me, I was really impressed with what neutrals had to bring, especially in that first game. He talked to me beforehand because, like I said, I was gonna cast his first round. He was like, no, I'm a scrub, I don't know how to play this, I don't know, I'm not as good, you should go for someone else. But he made it to the semifinals today, and he was able to show a little bit of gusto, a little bit of fight against Quantel, and he can just build on from there. That's what these smaller tournaments are all about. This isn't WCS, RIP, by the way. This isn't IEM, this is the ESL. You're not playing against the Koreans, you're playing with our regional community, and you can only go up from here. That's why we always want to promote everyone and anyone to join tournaments like this. Anyway, though, shoutouts again to a little bit of our organizers. Shoutouts to OSC for setting things up with the Vietnamese community. Shoutouts to the one who made all these layouts. We're basically just using the ones from SCPH, but I was like, this is really pretty, and I feel like I can use this for everything and anything StarCraft related. Shoutouts to DLS Mizzle. If you want to get something basically made in terms of arts, or design like this, layouts and the like, or even for your website, check out dlsmizzle.com. That's an individual, guys. This is not a company or anything. It's just some guy who's showing off his portfolio and has been very supportive of the PH scene. And I've been Daks. Thank you guys for checking this one out. I usually cast Overwatch. I do cast StarCraft 2 for the local scene, and I do cast Pokemon. And maybe I'll just meme it up and cast League because some of my friends are bothering me about it. But this has been the Outside Weekly. We'll be right back, waiting on to see what the result of the other semifinal is going to be. Stay tuned, stick around. The Grand Finals is up next.